Stop right there. Before you help that coworker one more time, before you share that shortcut you spent months discovering, before you explain that process you perfected through years of trial and error, I need you to understand something that's going to make you angry. Every time you teach someone everything you know at work, you're committing career suicide. You're handing them the knife they'll use to cut you out of promotions. You're building the ladder they'll climb over your back. You're creating your own replacement while calling it teamwork. Think about the last person you trained. Where are they now? Did they thank you when they got promoted? Did they remember you and their success? Or did they take everything you gave them and act like they figured it out themselves? Most people know this answer but refuse to face it. Here's the brutal truth nobody at HR wants you to hear. Knowledge is the only currency that matters in the workplace, and you've been giving it away for free like a fool handing out money on the street. Your company loves this. Your boss encourages it. They call it being a team player. They call it collaboration. They call it company culture. It's extraction, pure and simple. They're extracting your value and redistributing it to people who cost less than you, and you're helping them do it with a smile on your face because you think it makes you valuable. Machiavelli understood something 500 years ago that you're learning the hard way right now. The moment you reveal all your methods, you lose your necessity. And the moment you lose your necessity, you lose your power. You lose your leverage. You lose your ability to negotiate. You become replaceable. Today, I'm going to show you the 7 dark laws of workplace knowledge that separate those who rise from those who train their own replacements. These aren't the rules they teach in orientation. These aren't the values they put on the wall in the break room. These are the real rules, the ones your competition already knows, the ones keeping you stuck while others advance past you. By the end of this, you'll see your workplace differently. You'll see your coworkers differently. You'll see that promotion you've been passed over for in a completely new light, and you'll understand exactly why you've been stuck while training the people who got ahead. Now I want you to drop this affirmation in the comments. Knowledge is leverage. Because from this moment forward, everything changes. You stop being the helpful one everyone uses. You start being the strategic one everyone needs. Let's talk about why you're actually poor. Not because you don't work hard. You probably work harder than half the people making more than you. Not because you're not skilled. You've probably got more talent than your boss. You're poor because you've been conditioned to believe that giving away your intellectual property makes you valuable. Your entire life they trained you wrong. School taught you to share answers. That's collaboration. Work taught you to share methods. That's teamwork. Society taught you that knowledge grows when you spread it. That's generosity. All lies. Carefully designed lies to keep you exactly where you are. Here's what actually happens in the real world. The person who hoards knowledge gets promoted. The person who shares everything gets thanked and forgotten. The person who creates dependency gets raises. The person who creates independence gets replaced. This pattern repeats in every office, every industry, every company, without exception. Look around your office right now. Who makes the most money? Is it the person who trains everyone? The one who's always helping? The one everyone goes to with questions? Or is it the person everyone has to come to because they're the only one who knows? There's your answer. Your company has convinced you that your value comes from your helpfulness. That's corporate propaganda designed to extract maximum value from you at minimum cost. They want you to believe that being indispensable means being available, being useful, being the go-to person. Wrong. Being indispensable means being irreplaceable, and you can't be irreplaceable if you've already placed your replacement. Think about that clearly. Every skill you teach becomes one less reason they need you. Every shortcut you reveal becomes one less advantage you have. Every process you document becomes one less question they have to ask you specifically. You're literally building the case for why they don't need to pay you as much, or at all. The system is designed to make you feel guilty about keeping knowledge. They use words like selfish, territorial, not a team player. They create a culture where information hoarding feels wrong, where asking for credit feels petty, where protecting your methods feels paranoid. But here's what they're not telling you. The people at the top, they hoard information constantly. They have private meetings. They keep strategic decisions close. They share knowledge on a need-to-know basis. They protect their advantages ruthlessly. Then they tell you to do the opposite. Why? Because your ignorance is their profit. Your generosity is their competitive advantage. Your teaching is their cost reduction. Now write this down in the comments. I protect my value. This is your wake-up call. Everything you learned about workplace success was designed to benefit everyone except you. Law 1. The knowledge gap is your salary gap. Watch the average employee at any company. They're eager to help. Someone asks how to do something, and they immediately explain every step. They document every process. They create training guides. They share shortcuts. They make themselves completely transparent. They think this makes them valuable. They think this builds relationships. They think management notices their helpfulness. This is the behavior that keeps people poor. This is the pattern that prevents promotion. This is the mistake that makes you replaceable. Here's what you need to understand about corporate economics. Your salary is not based on how hard you work. It's not based on how nice you are. It's not even based entirely on your results. Your salary is based on how difficult you are to replace, multiplied by how necessary your skills are. When you teach someone everything you know, you're cutting both of those numbers. You're making yourself easier to replace. You're making your skills less necessary because now someone else has them. You're literally calculating your own salary reduction with every training session you give. Let me show you the math that most people never do. Let's say you make $70,000 because you have a specialized skill. You're the only person in your department who knows how to do a specific critical task. That skill alone is worth maybe $20,000 of your salary. It's your leverage. It's your edge. It's what makes you expensive. Now you train someone else, completely, thoroughly. You give them all your tricks, all your methods, all your shortcuts. Suddenly, you're not the only one. Your leverage drops instantly. That $20,000 becomes negotiable. Maybe they decide they don't need to pay you that premium anymore. Maybe they realize they can pay the person you trained $45,000 to do the same job. You just cost yourself money while thinking you were being helpful. This pattern repeats across millions of workers every single day. They teach their way into salary stagnation while wondering why they never get ahead. They document their way into replaceability while management smiles and nods. Think about why companies love documentation so much, why they push for process improvement, why they want everything written down in wikis and knowledge bases. It's not about efficiency. That's the cover story. It's about replacing you. Every process you document is a piece of you they can hire for less money somewhere else. Every method you share is a reduction in what makes you specifically valuable. The dark psychology behind this is even more calculated than most people realize. Management creates a culture of sharing because it serves them, not you. They reward helpful behavior with recognition, not money. They give you Employee of the Month, not equity. They praise your teamwork while promoting the person who kept strategic knowledge to themselves. They want you generous with your knowledge and desperate for approval. That combination makes you exploitable. You'll teach anyone anything just to feel valued, just to get that pat on the back, just to maintain that identity as the helpful person everyone loves. Meanwhile, the person who helps selectively, who shares strategically, who creates dependency instead of independence, that person becomes irreplaceable. That person has leverage. That person gets paid. Machiavelli once said, "Never was anything great achieved without danger, and danger is kept at bay through necessity." Your necessity is your protection. The moment you're no longer necessary, you're in danger of being optimized, restructured, or eliminated. Every skill you transfer to someone else reduces your necessity by that exact amount. Every shortcut you reveal eliminates a reason they need you specifically. Think about the most expensive people in any organization, the consultants who charge $300 an hour.
the specialists who command six-figure salaries, the executives who make decisions worth millions. What do they all have in common? They don't tell you everything. They don't document all their methods. They don't create easy replacements for themselves. They maintain knowledge gaps intentionally. They understand that mystery is part of their value, that scarcity is part of their price, that being the only one who knows creates the leverage that gets them paid. Now here's what you do instead. You become selective, strategic, intelligent about what you share and what you protect. You help people, but not completely. You give them enough to make progress, but not enough to replace you. You share the what, but protect the how. You create dependency, not independence. You position yourself as the continuous resource, not the one-time teacher.
Law 4. Selective ignorance is strategic intelligence. Sometimes the smartest move is to not know how to do something. Sometimes strategic ignorance beats demonstrated competence. Think about the tasks nobody wants: tedious data entry, the annoying client, the broken process. Who ends up doing them? The person who proved they can. You've been punished for competence. Every time you demonstrated you could handle something difficult, you added it to your permanent workload. Every time you figured out a recurring problem, you became its permanent solver. Meanwhile, the person who said, "I'm not really familiar with that system," just protected their time. Organizations distribute work based on demonstrated capability and perceived availability. If you've shown you can do something and you seem available, that work gravitates to you. But what if you control the perception of your capability? What if you're selectively competent? You demonstrate excellence in high-value, high-visibility work while appearing less skilled in low-value, time-consuming tasks. Machiavelli once said, "Everyone sees what you appear to be. Few experience what you really are." If you show you can handle tedious work, that's your reputation. If you show you excel at strategic work, that's your reputation instead. You choose by what you demonstrate. There's a visible project connected to leadership. There's also a maintenance task. Which one do you prove you can handle? Most people try both. Big mistake. You demonstrate excellence on the visible project. On the maintenance task, you're less familiar. You'd need to learn the system. Someone else would probably be faster. You just strategically separated yourself from low-value work while positioning yourself for high-value opportunities. Stop trying to prove you're good at everything. Start proving you're exceptional at the right things. When low-value work appears, you redirect. That's important. Is there someone who specializes in that? For work you don't want to be known for, you appear less polished. You ask more questions. You take longer. Meanwhile, for work that aligns with your goals, you're sharp and impressive. You create contrast. People stop coming to you for low-value work. They start coming for high-value work. The more you try to prove you can do everything, the more you get stuck doing everything. The more selective you are, the more you focus on what advances your career. Stop proving you can handle everything. Start proving you excel at the right things. Drop this affirmation in the comments. I choose my battles. Law 5. Your speed is their weapon against you. You're probably proud of how fast you work, how quickly you respond, how efficiently you solve problems. You think speed demonstrates value. Your speed is bankrupting your salary. Every time you deliver quickly, you're teaching them how little time things actually take. You're training them to undervalue you. Think about a project that took you 4 hours. You delivered same day. They were impressed, but in their mind, that project isn't worth much. Only took 4 hours, came back same day, must not be complicated. Now imagine you took 2 days, delivered it polished. What's the perception? This was substantial work. This required thought. Same project, different timeline, different perceived value. Value is partially based on scarcity, and time is scarcity's most visible signal. When you deliver fast, you signal abundance. When you deliver with appropriate timing, you signal scarcity. Abundant resources are cheap. Scarce resources are expensive. Fast workers get more work, not more money. When you prove you can turn something around in 2 hours, they give you 5 more things. Your speed created capacity in their minds, capacity they now expect to fill. You increased your workload without increasing your paycheck. Consultants don't deliver instantly. They take time appropriate to the value they provide. They build in thinking time, research time, refinement time. They deliver when the work is ready and charge accordingly. You're doing the opposite, delivering at maximum speed for minimum recognition. Machiavelli once said, "The vulgar crowd always is taken by appearances, and the world consists chiefly of the vulgar." Work that appears to take time appears more valuable. Work that appears instant appears less valuable. Same work, different perception, different pay. Here's the strategic approach. You deliver excellent work on timelines that reflect its value. Not slow, strategic. You build in appropriate time for thinking, reviewing, refining. If something takes you 3 hours but should take 2 days, you say 2 days. You deliver in 2 days. Excellent work, appropriate timeline, proper value signal. You also stop responding instantly. Stop answering immediately. You batch responses. You set boundaries around reaction time. Instant availability signals low value. Considered response time signals high value. For work that takes you X time, deliver in 2X to 3X time. That's appropriate timeline for work of that value. The paradox? The faster you work, the less you're worth. The more appropriate your timelines, the more you're valued. Speed is your private advantage. Strategic timing is your public positioning. Never confuse the two. Drop this affirmation in the comments. I choose my battles.
Law 6. The documentation trap is the replacement plan. Every company asks you to document your processes, write down how you do things, create guides, build training materials. They call it knowledge management. It's a replacement plan. They're asking you to write the instruction manual for making you obsolete. Documentation takes knowledge from your head and transfers it to anyone. It takes years of practice and reduces them to steps. It takes your expertise and turns it into a checklist. You're taking yourself from irreplaceable to interchangeable, from expensive to cheap. Why would you do that? Because they conditioned you to believe hoarding knowledge is unprofessional. They created a culture where your cooperation in your own replacement is called being a team player. Your company is trying to reduce key person risk. You're the key person. Their solution? Extract that knowledge before you go. Make you redundant while you're still there. Every process you write down is instructions for your replacement. Every method you share reduces your negotiating power. You think you're being helpful. You're being harvested. If everything you know is written down, what leverage do you have? What makes you special? Your personality? These are not reasons to pay you well. They make documentation a performance metric. You get praised for comprehensive guides. They're incentivizing you to eliminate your own value. They make it social. They call people who don't document bad team members. They use peer pressure to force cooperation. Machiavelli once said, "He who builds on the people builds on mud." Documentation is building on mud. You think you're building your reputation, you're building your replacement. Documents don't get raises. Documents don't negotiate. Documents are perfect employees. Look at the most protected, highest paid roles. How much is documented? Usually minimal. They keep crucial knowledge close. They share enough to function, but not enough to be replaced. They understand their value is partially in their inaccessibility. Here's what you do. You document selectively. You share what's necessary for basic operations, but protect what's strategic. You write down routine tasks, but keep advanced problem-solving in your head. You create guides for standard procedures, but keep advanced techniques proprietary. They ask you to write down how you do something. You write the basic version, the one that handles 90% of cases.
But the 10% requiring real expertise, that stays with you. That's where your value lives. You also make documentation expire, make it time-sensitive. When things change, your knowledge adapts. The documentation doesn't. Documentation should serve you, not replace you. It should handle routine stuff. It should make you more efficient, not more expendable. The moment documentation threatens your necessity, you stop participating in your own obsolescence. Your knowledge is your asset. Don't transfer assets without compensation. Drop this affirmation in the comments. I control my documentation. Law 7. Training your replacement is career suicide with applause. Companies will tell you to train your replacement and call it a growth opportunity. They'll say you can't get promoted until someone can do your job. They'll frame your participation in your own elimination as professional development, and you'll do it enthusiastically because you think that's how you move up. It's how you move out, not up. Out. Think about the logic they're selling. We can't promote you until someone can do your job. Sounds reasonable, but here's what happens. You train someone, they learn your job. Now there are two people who can do what you do. Which one costs less? The new person. Which one just became expendable? You. You trained your competition. You created your replacement. You proved you're not necessary anymore. But you didn't create a vacancy that requires your promotion. You created a vacancy that eliminates your leverage. Here's the pattern. Train Sarah. Once she's up to speed, we'll talk about that senior position. So you train Sarah completely. You give her every shortcut, every method, every relationship. Sarah's now doing your job. What happens next? Actually, we decided to restructure. Sarah's handling your old responsibilities. Your role is being eliminated. Or, Sarah's doing great. We'll revisit that senior position next year. Or, budget got frozen, but great job training Sarah. You just trained yourself into irrelevance. The brutal truth? Most companies are not looking to promote you. They're looking to optimize labor costs. Training your replacement at your higher salary so they can pay them lower salary is optimization. You're the squeeze, not the beneficiary. Before you trained Sarah, you had leverage. I need a raise or I'll look elsewhere. They counter, we need you, let's work this out. After you train Sarah, you threaten to leave and they say, Sarah can handle the transition. You eliminated your own leverage. They tell you this is how you advance. You demonstrate leadership by developing others. It sounds like wisdom. It's a trap door. Because the moment someone else can do your job, your value proposition changes. You're no longer the person they can't afford to lose. Machiavelli once said, a prince ought to take care that he never lets anything slip from his lips that is not replete with apparent mercy, apparent faith, apparent sincerity, apparent humanity, and apparent religion. Companies appear to care about your growth, but appearances are strategy. The apparent opportunity is the actual strategy of reducing dependence on you. Look at who actually gets promoted, not the person who made themselves replaceable. It's the person who was solving problems above their pay grade while maintaining necessity in their current role, not the person who transferred all their knowledge downstream. Here's what you do. You never fully train your replacement. You develop people, but not as your replacements. You help people grow, but not into your exact role. When they tell you to train someone to take over your role, you push back strategically. I'm happy to develop them in certain areas, but my role requires years of institutional knowledge that can't be transferred quickly. However, I can train them to support key functions while I move into the senior role. You're offering development without replacement. You're positioning yourself for advancement without elimination. You train people to be strong contributors, not to be you. You develop their skills in areas that complement yours, not duplicate yours. You create a team that's better with you leading it, not a team that's fine without you. You share routine aspects, but protect strategic elements. You teach people to execute, but not to decide. You show them how to implement, but not how to innovate. You make them capable, but not equivalent. There's a ceiling to what you transfer, and that ceiling is below your current capabilities, always.
You also make documentation conditional. You develop people as you're moving up, not before. You start transitioning responsibilities as your promotion is confirmed, not as a prerequisite. You never give away your role hoping it creates space for advancement. You only transition when that space is already created and you're moving into it. The more you train someone to do exactly what you do, the less reason they have to promote you. The more you develop people in ways that make you a better leader, the stronger your case for promotion becomes. Training your replacement is career suicide, but they'll applaud while you do it. They'll call you a leader, and then they'll hire someone else for the role you wanted. Drop this affirmation in the comments. I build teams, not replacements. You've just learned the 7 dark laws of workplace knowledge. Most people discover these too late, after they've trained 3 generations of coworkers who passed them on the ladder, after they've documented themselves into dispensability, after they've been helpful into irrelevance. But you're different now. You see the game. You understand that knowledge isn't just currency. It's your entire wealth position in the workplace economy. Every piece you give away reduces your capital. Every method you protect maintains your worth. Here's what separates people who rise from people who help others rise. The successful ones understand the workplace is not a classroom. You're not there to educate. You're there to produce value and extract compensation for that value. You help strategically, not automatically. You share selectively, not freely. This isn't about being cruel. This is about understanding your knowledge is your leverage, your methods are your moat, your expertise is your economic engine, and protecting these isn't selfishness, it's survival. It's the difference between getting ahead and getting left behind. Think about your current situation. How many people have you trained? How many methods have you documented? How many times have you made yourself less necessary while thinking you were being helpful? You can stop today. You can start protecting your value. You can shift from being the teacher everyone uses to being the resource everyone needs. 2 types of people walk into work tomorrow. The first type helps everyone who asks, shares every method, trains people completely, documents every process, makes themselves transparent and replaceable. They work hard, they're respected, they're stuck. They watch others get promoted. They wonder why generosity isn't rewarded. They eventually burn out or get replaced. The second type helps strategically, shares selectively, trains partially, documents carefully, maintains necessity while developing others. They work smart, they're respected and irreplaceable. They have leverage, they get raises, they get promoted, they control their career.